I'm the bad guy for not going to my sister-in-law's wedding due to her dress code. Hello, I'm a female, 25. I'm having conflict with my husband's sister, 36, female. She's getting married in 2 weeks and her dress code is incredibly complicated to adhere to for me. It is a black tie, long sleeves, and floor-length gowns. The conflict happened because I'm currently 34 weeks pregnant and overheat very quickly, and the wedding is entirely outside, in the middle of the day, in the southern USA, where it's incredibly hot. I cannot be in a long-sleeve floor-length gown in the heat for 8 hours. I've sent her a few dresses to try to compromise, but she's completely adamant about exactly what she wants. I told her yesterday that I cannot attend her wedding if she is not going to budge even slightly on the dress code. I tell her she has the right to have her wedding exactly how she wants it, for it to be her perfect day, but I have the right to look out for my own health. She freaked out at me and told me I was being incredibly selfish and that for once it isn't about me and my freaking baby, which she only said because she's jealous. I'm having the first grandchild, and she felt like she should have had a baby before me and my husband. Since then, my husband's side of the family has told me I'm being selfish and to just compromise one day to keep the peace. I don't think I shall need to compromise my health for her wedding. I'm not the bad guy and being unreasonable here. I'm not the bad guy. I have stage 4 cancer and said no shit to what I thought was in-law's weird, insensitive comment. I have stage 4 cancer with young kids and wife, probably going to die within 1-2 years or so. My fuse is shortened with certain people. In-law says to me, it must be so hard for your family and what your family is going through. I want you to know that it's not your fault. They have said something similar to me before and I just said I know and move on. This time I couldn't take it and said no shit, it's pretty obvious. I didn't deserve cancer and I know it's not my fault for getting it. She became upset and told a few people I was rude to her. Should apologize. Am I misunderstanding what point she was trying to make? The only way I can think of taking it is that there could be a thought in people's mind that it's my fault for getting cancer and making things so hard for my young family. I'm young, lived a healthy life. Know that I will deserve cancer even if I didn't, so I don't get it. I'm being overly sensitive? Was she just looking for a goodwill hunting moment? I honestly don't get her point. What do you think? Am I the bad guy for refusing to heed anything medical about my friend's pregnancy? Hello, I'm a female, 37. I'm at the end of my life expectancy. It's entirely possible I could live longer because of taking good care of myself, but the average is late 30s. My mother had the same condition as I do and died at the age 22 from childbirth. I decided to never have children to avoid passing my disease on 50% chance or leaving children behind for someone else to raise, potentially knowing they ended their own smothered life, which was honestly a really crappy way to grow up. I joined a support group online 10 years ago, and in that time, while we have gained new members, we have lost a number to age and a number of women to pregnancy and childbirth complications. One of my closest friend, Mergie, has decided to have a baby with her husband. My platonic partner, caretaker of 15 years, and I live an hour away. And while her husband has been working as much overtime as he can to earn extra time off, Jim has been the one driving her to her appointments and bringing me to spend time with her, so she hasn't been alone so as much. My one and only rule is I don't want to know specifics about her pregnancy-related medical issues because of personal trauma. She's entitled to make her own decisions about her life. I'm entitled to my feelings, and I don't want to know, so I can rein in my feelings and be respectful. She has a medical folder with updates about her current condition in the event of an emergency. Jim and I aren't being paid for our time, gas, etc. It's all volunteer. However, as her pregnancy has progressed, and things have started to get worse. She keeps trying to sleep things in. On Friday, she brought it up again, asked if she need us to call 911 and her husband. She said no, and I lost my temper and told her, then stop bringing it up. I have one rule and you keep trying to break it. Unless you need medical attention, can we please talk about something else? She cried silently for nearly an hour, even after I apologized, and then told Jim and I to not bother showing up for Labor Day when we left, which left her husband confused because she wouldn't tell him what happened. I gave him the number for my therapist, who specializes in palliative care patients, because I know she needs support, and I feel bad for hurting her feelings. But I don't want to be her therapist as she faces the reality of her decision. I don't want her dumping her health on me, not while I'm dealing with mine. So am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for not wanting to be near a screaming baby while having drinks? A friend, female 27, and I, 27 female, went to happy hour on Thursday to a brewery for drinks. We got a table, and as we woke up, there was a baby at the next table. He's eating some mac and cheese and just yelling, "Ah, wah, wah, wah," over and over in the minute we were near the baby. He seemed happy, but I don't like the babies yelling, crying, or really making noise. It really bothers me. I asked my friend if she wanted to move tables, and I told her I didn't want to be near a yelling baby. She says no. She thought the baby was cute and funny. She said happy babies making noise like that is the best. I told her I would really like to move. I expressed that babies shouldn't be here. I know if this baby kept yelling, I wasn't going to enjoy myself. She says I don't know why it's bothered me so much. She told me to not be a bad guy. It's just a baby. Happy baby. I started gathering my things and told her I was leaving. I thought she was being very inconsiderate of how I felt, so I just left. So am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for telling my wife she can do all the old people stuff, but I'm not interested yet? My wife is 6 years older than me. I'm 54. I still enjoy skiing, scuba diving, hiking, etc. My wife used to be my partner in all that stuff. Now she's happy reading, gardening, watching TV, and being a grandma. I love being a grandpa, but I like taking my grandchildren out to the pool or the park. I do play games at home with them as well. My wife says that she doesn't want to do things we used to do anymore. She says she doesn't have the energy anymore. I don't mind doing them on my own. For example, this last winter, she got to stay at the hotel, the Scarlet, in town while I went skiing. This summer, she didn't want to come down to the Caribbean to go scuba diving. I would have loved her company, but she said she wanted to help with the grandkids more. I said I understood, but I still want my vacation, so I went. When I got back, she was upset with me. She said I wasn't a bad guy for taking a vacation without her. She could have come. I just wasn't interested in hanging around the city for an extra 2 weeks. She said that she felt like I abandoned her. I said I work hard my life, so I could enjoy it, not to lay like a potato. She said her new hobbies might be sedentary, but she enjoyed them. I said that was fine, but I didn't want to do old people shit until I absolutely had to. So am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for giving my son's bedroom to our foster child? My husband and I have been foster parents for over a decade. 2 months ago, we had 4 minor children living in our home. Our 12-year-old biological son, our 8- and 5-year-old adopted sons, and our 21-month-old foster son. Our 22-year-old foster daughter also still lives at home with us, and my 19-year-old son spent the summer back home after his freshman year of college. We also have other adult children that don't live at home but not really relevant. 7 weeks ago, we got a call for an emergency placement of 5 siblings, 17 female, 12 female, 10 male, 7 female, 6 male. We only had 2 spare bedrooms. but had enough spare beds in storage to make it work with the girls in one room and the boys in the other. It now looks like we are going to be fostering the 5 of them for considerably longer than we thought when they were placed with us. Because of the large age gaps between the girls, having them share more long-term isn't really ideal. We already moved the boys a few weeks ago. We've bought a triple bunk for our 8 and 5 years old room and moved the 6 years old in with them and put the 10-year-old's bed into our 12 years old room. This allowed the 17 years old girl to get her own room and the 2 younger girls to share. None of this created any drama at the boys. We're all more than happy to share a room with each other. Now that my 19 years old is going back to college, we discussed and eventually agreed on turning his bedroom into a room for our 12 years old girl, so she has her own space away from her little sister. We wasn't impressed when I brought up the idea but agreed. However, before he left back for college a few days ago, he got into an argument with my husband complaining it's unfair, he's lost his room, and that he has nowhere to go when he comes back home now. My older adult son also contacted me about the situation to essentially tell me it was a bad idea and that his brother is really upset, and just because he's been away for college a year doesn't mean he's ready to lose his spot in the house. Last year, we didn't need the extra space, so his room stayed empty when he was at college. This year, it made no sense to leave a bedroom empty and to make 2 girls 5 years apart in the age share room. He's still welcome home whenever, and if things change, we can rearrange things again. Losing his room is temporary, as we don't normally have so many foster kids. When our other kids, grandkids visit, they happily use an air mattress in the den or bunk with a sibling, and he can do the same on his school breaks. He will most likely have his room back by next summer, and if not, we will figure out solutions then. I've explained all this to him, but he is not hearing me. I'm not the bad guy. I've brought a new decor etc. for the room and plan on decorating and moving our foster daughter in tomorrow. What do you think?